Good afternoon, everyone. We'll call a meeting to order and begin with the land acknowledgement statement. We acknowledge that the ground on which we live is the traditional territory of Caldwell First Nation, of the Three Fires Confederacy, and the original people of Point Pelee and Pelee Island and its surrounding lands and waters, and that of the Huron-Wendat and Wyandot peoples. We recognize and respect the First Nations who are stewards of the land and waters of Turtle Island and who have embraced this stewardship since time immemorial. We would also like to acknowledge the contributions of other nearby First Nation communities and all original people across Turtle Island. There is a recommendation for the November 25th, 2025 Parks, Rec, and Events Committee meeting agenda be adopted as presented. Moved by Councillor Carrick, supported by Councillor Riccio-Spagnolo. All in favor? That carries. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest? No, there being none. Looking for an adoption of minutes for the Parks and Rec and Events Committee meeting held August 26th, 2025. Councillor Reno, Councillor Segan, all in favor? That carries. And go into our items for consideration, our winter 2026 activities update, our supervisor of programming, Ms. Turnbull.
Thank you. Good evening. Before you is the winter 2026 activities update report. The purpose of this report is to keep everyone apprised to upcoming dates and events, activities, and facility closures. So there are quite a few dates outlined in the report, and I'll highlight a few for you. So our fall programming will begin to wrap up on December the 12th, and our winter sessional programming will begin on Sunday, January 4th, and will run through until Friday, March 27th, 2026. Registration for our winter activities begin next week. So it will be opening to LaSalle residents on Tuesday, December the 2nd, and open to all on Thursday, December the 4th. And our winter activities are now viewable online at lasalleactive.ca. For our winter session, we will have no programming, sessional programming on Family Day, and we will be skipping the programming the weekend of the Day of Champs, and then skipping programming on March break, and we'll be offering March break camp for March break, which runs from March 16th to the 20th. And I'll pass it over to Ms. Rafuse to go through the upcoming events and facility closures.
Thank you, Ms. Turnbull. As you are all aware, we have many upcoming events occurring at the LaSalle Landing property, including the grand opening of the Loop on Friday, November 28th, which launches our 4 weekends of programming for Holiday Lights and Heritage Nights. We will host the Breakfast with Santa and the Mayor event on December 6th and our annual New Year's Eve fireworks display. Following these events heading into the winter session, we'll continue to offer skate loaning for the community at the Loop, and our staff will support a number of third-party events both at the Vollmer Center and the Event Center, with the event dates confirmed as of today before you in the report. Out of the 9 events listed, 5 of these are returning events and 4 of them are new. We want to remind Council of the Vollmer Center facility closures over the holidays, which are also listed in the report before you. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you very much. Members of Council, Councillor Segan and Councillor Reno.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. I have one question, just a clarification. Under the winter programming activities on page 7 of the agenda report, it says no recreational sessional programming January 29th for LMHA Weekend of Champs. Is that a typo? Because that's not the Weekend of Champs for LMHA. It's usually the end of March. I know that Skate Ontario has something that weekend, I believe.
It is a typo. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Okay, thank you. That's all I need. Thank you.
Thank you. My question is more for the next meeting. I was just wondering if we might be able to get a report of how many events were held outside at the event center last year, and how many are pre-booked for next year, just to give us an idea how busy the center's been and how it's going to be next year. Is that, do I need to do that as a separate session, or?
I think, if I understand correctly, I think the Council Service Department prefer those things to come through a motion. But just to clarify, are you talking about like outside or outside?
Not non-town events.
So non-town events, okay.
Thank you. Yes, we can prepare that.
So we moved by Councillor Reno to get that report and support. Councillor Regis Spagnolo, all in favor? That carries. Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments on item number 1? No, that's what I was going to do right now. That's okay. If there's no other questions, if I can get a motion to receive the report of the supervisor of programming dated November 6, 2025. Councillor Burns, support. Councillor Carrick, all in favor? That carries. Item 2 is our 2025 summer session report of joint programs and events between Culture and Rec and Public Works. Our manager of Culture and Rec, Mr. Bisson.
Good afternoon, your worship, members of council. This report is our standard report that we bring each Parks, Recreation, Events Committee. The purpose of the report is to look back to a previous session just to provide council with an overview of how that session went. Obviously, Ms. Turnbull and Ms. Rayfuse just gave you a report looking forward, and we kind of try to follow up each meeting, giving you a look back at the previous session. This report is our report for July and August of 2025. Just a quick few highlights. Everything we do is linked so closely with our colleagues in Public Works, and they did a great job this summer getting Rink B flipped over in short order, doing a bunch of maintenance when they had the ice out, and getting it back up and running, as always, right after the civic holiday. And as soon as we had the rink back open, you're renting both sides pretty full right away. So they do a great job every summer doing that necessary maintenance, and we appreciate that work. And going along with that, we had an increased usage for soccer that we'll talk about a little bit later, and our park staff did a great job of sort of helping us meet that demand, and we appreciate it. Going into the Culture and Recreation update, just to point out first in the aquatics area, I noticed I made a typo. The increase in the number of participants was 93. In the report it said 193. There was an extra digit in there. My apologies. The increase of roughly 8% was accurate. So we were happy to see that increase. The programs were strong throughout the session, and we also saw the fill rate go up, which is always positive as well. And we saw that happen both at the Vollmer pool as well as the outdoor pool. One of the things I'd want to point out with aquatics is we do have a partnership where Essex Power through the Youth and Community Fund helps support some of our various initiatives throughout the year. One of those is trying to provide free swimming at the outdoor pool throughout the summer. We had another very successful summer, and we had nearly 4,300 people come out to those free swims daily at the outdoor pool, which was great, especially with the summer we had, very hot and dry. So very grateful for that partnership and to be able to provide free swimming to the community with the support of Essex Power. Moving over to our summer day camp, we continue to see a very strong demand for summer day camp programming. We have made some changes to our process from the waitlisting perspective, as well as a year and a half or so ago, we came to council with an update to our refund withdrawal policy, and those have helped us fill any last minute people dropping out of camp at the last moment. So we're happy to see our capacity is up to 97% filled. It's probably never going to hit 100% because you always have people at the last moment drop out, and sometimes you just can't find someone to fill that spot last minute. But in the report, it kind of outlines those different age segments and the percentage capacity, and 3 of the 4 are basically completely full. So the staff do a great job through Ms. Turnbull's group at sort of meeting that demand for summer day camp, and we'll continue to look ways to enhance that and to continue to add spaces wherever possible, because we know parents are in need, and we've done that the last 2 years where we've been able to get more camper days. On the membership side, not surprising because we've reported on this before, we continue to see people that are interested in becoming members at the Vollmer, and that continues to grow session over session. In this past session, we have continued to see an increase in membership, and that resulted in 2,500 more visits, or basically 40 more people coming every day to the Vollmer. And that, each year when we do our February pre-meeting, we usually bring a year in review, and you'll see at that point that growth has continued session after session, and we continue to see more people visit the Vollmer. With regards to sport field rentals, I mentioned at the beginning the work that the Public Works team did in parks to support some additional soccer. We had 570 extra hours rented this summer, and that is obviously heavily, LaSalle Stompers. Baseball was consistent with the year before. There wasn't any real increase in any hours or decrease there, but soccer we saw an increase. And then finally, on the event delivery side, of course, we offered a brand new event for the town, Canada Day, which was highly successful. And working with our police colleagues during the event, they estimated the crowd size to be about 5,000 for that day, which was fantastic. And we were also very happy to facilitate 22 different third-party events over July and August, which was an increase of 10 over the previous year. So we continue to see more interest. Now that's events not just at the event center or LaSalle Landing, that includes tournaments at the Volmer or other events at the Volmer as well. So another successful summer, and of course, all of those events require, our staff through Ms. Rayfew's group working to facilitate and book those, but we often have work orders for parks and facilities to help support all those. So it's a great collaboration. We're really happy that we're seeing more and more events. I think that's great for our town and for things for people to do, and hopefully we continue to see a growth in events session over session. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Councillor Riches-Spagnola.
Thank you, through you. Just a question. Great that we had about 5,300 campers. That's wonderful. You did make a comment about sometimes campers have to back out last minute. Do we withhold a fee when it comes to that, or do they get fully refunded? Just because then we lose a spot, especially with the high demand of how many campers are interested in your camps.
So I'm going to turn that question over to Ms. Turnbull, but that policy change that council approved maybe a year and a half ago helped us sort of back up that refund. So if they weren't, or if they were dropping out too soon, they weren't getting a full refund, but Ms. Turnbull can explain further.
Thank you. So outlined in the policy, and it specifies, depending on the reason for the withdrawal, would determine whether the individual would be eligible for a refund, a credit, or none at all. So, for example, if a child has a medical note associated with the request for a refund, they would be eligible for a full refund. And then if the request was within the 4-week window and they were requesting a credit, that could be put back on their account. And then if it was outside of the 4-week window, they would be eligible for a full refund.
Just a follow-up then. So do we have a list of people who are on a wait list so we can, okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So through our registration system, it allows residents and non-residents to add their children to the wait list. And then as soon as we withdraw a participant from the program, our staff are then working through the individuals on the wait list, and they're added to the wait list based on the priority of when they've registered. So then we start at the top of the wait list of who was added to the wait list first, contact them, and then move down sequentially until we're able to fill the spot. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? None. The recommendations that the report of the Manager of Culture and Recreation dated November 7th, 2025 regarding the 2025 summer session report of joint programs and events between Culture and Recreation and Public Works be received. Moved by Deputy Mayor Kapatta, support by Councillor Runo. All in favor? And that carries. Item 3, last call before fall post-event report. Our Director of Culture and Recreation, Ms. Finero.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Your Worship and members of council. The purpose of this report is to bring you a post-event review of the last call before fall event, which was held on September 5th and 6th. Overall, it was well received by the public, again, and by the attendees, and it generated positive feedback overall. The event did conclude with a small financial deficit of $3,576. That was influenced by several factors. One of those being that the sponsorship that we typically receive decreased by $2,000 this year compared to previous years. A potential contributing factor to that may be that we are seeing a growing number of community events, not only those that we're putting on ourselves, but other events that are being hosted in our community now seeking the same sponsorship dollars. We did see a decrease in attendance overall on the Friday evening, so there was, admission sales were down, as well as that resulted in a decrease in alcohol and token sales as well. The biggest contributor to the deficit, though, most of our expenses were on track or below budget, with the exception of paid duty policing. We did increase paid duty policing this year to strengthen the event safety and ensure responsible alcohol management. However, since we've had the event and seen a decrease in the attendance on the Friday evening, we've had some post-event reviews with police, and they have indicated that there's opportunities to optimize the scheduling for future events, so we could reduce some coverage during slower periods and maintaining peak time presence so that we can better manage our costs for the future and hopefully not see that small deficit. Overall, we had really great vendor participation. There was 1,400 attendees that attended the event over the 2 days. There was 11 local wineries, breweries, and distilleries, all from within the Windsor-Essex County region. They offered guests the opportunity to sample a wide variety of locally produced beverages, including wine, spirits, and beer. And we had local food trucks that complemented the experience as well. I did want to just touch on the cultural and economic benefits, particularly because we've recently gone through the exercise of the Parks, Recreation, and Culture Master Plan, and there has been a lot of discussion around what is culture and do we or do we not offer cultural events. And so I included this part in the report just as sort of a reminder that culture can go beyond museums and galleries, and this is a really great cultural event and experience for attendees. We're able to offer shared experiences through music, food, and local craftsmanship. And it really does showcase, local musicians that we have, the local craft beverage makers, as well as local culinary artisans. And it gives people a chance to connect together while they're enjoying that and celebrating what makes our region unique, which is the agricultural roots that we have, our thriving wine and craft beverage industry, and the growing culinary scene as well. We continue to receive positive feedback all the time from attendees indicating that they really do appreciate having an event that is specifically for adults only and gives them a chance to gather and socialize as well as support local businesses. And it's, in my opinion, been a valuable addition to LaSalle, and it really is an effective way to stimulate the local economy. So I did calculate the estimated economic contribution to the event, so that was just direct spending from the town to event suppliers and businesses, so local vendors, event services like tables and chairs, decor, and the food and beverage providers. So the next steps for the department is we are reviewing the Friday evening. We do know that attendance is low on that night, and we think that there needs to be some changes. We're just not sure exactly what those are at this point, so we intend to come back to the committee in February with some recommendations on how we can perhaps either increase attendance on the Friday evening or some other options for the event. And that concludes my report. I'm available if there's any questions.
Thank you very much. Members of council, Councillor Joe Spagnola.
Thank you through you to Ms. Finaro. So I attended both nights, and I think it was a great job to you and your team. You guys did a great job with the event. A couple suggestions. I think I spoke to Mayor Meloche about this on one of those evenings, but one would be maybe on the Friday have a DJ as opposed to a music act. Maybe that might entice more people to come. The other thing that I received a lot of feedback on was to have a coffee and like some dessert vendors, so perhaps that can bring in some revenue with sponsorships. Have somebody support or sponsor a dessert bar or different types of dessert vendors slash coffee, because I know we had a few people come to me, I think came to you as well, regarding that. And then I also noted, is it something maybe we can explore too, to entice more people to come on the Friday? Because the Saturday you have no problem with. Saturday's always a sellout, but maybe do a weekend pass. Like instead of $25 for each night, maybe do $45 if you buy the Friday, Saturday. That might entice people to come as well. Because it's like, I know myself and a bunch of people that I attended with, they went both nights as well. So that might entice other people to do both nights. And then the other thing was just, yeah, you already did it, the food vendors, which was great. And you had a lot of variety of choices. Oh, one thing I would say is if there could be an area for water. There was like no water or pop for people who don't drink like myself, just to purchase like a water bottle or something, because a lot of the vendors didn't have it. I think one at the entrance had it, and then that was it. That might be another option. That's it. But great job to all of you. You did a wonderful job. It was a great event, and I know the town embraces it. A lot of the residents really, really enjoy that event and look forward to it every year. So great job.
Thank you, Councillor, for the feedback. Those are certainly some great suggestions, and we will explore those. I did want to just note that we did have Culligan as a water sponsor, so we did have a water station, but perhaps they weren't visible. And that is something that we also talked about, was offering, looking at what options we can offer for those who don't wish to have alcohol at the event, but they still want to come, and perhaps there's some more drink options. We also had a mocktail vendor there as well, but we did have water.
Councillor Segan and then Councillor Reno.
Through you, Mayor Malash. I have a couple questions that are derived from feedback I had from some residents. The first one, is it common to have a deficit at small community events?
Thank you for the question, Councillor Segan. Perhaps I can answer, and then I can let the finance department speak as well. But in my experience, in the events that I've been involved with the past 10 plus years, it is common, particularly in the early days. We're on year 3 of this event. But we've had with the Strawberry Fest, even in recent years, we've seen a deficit depending on a variety of factors. It can be weather influenced, or if there's other things going on in the community. It changes often from year to year. And in a deficit, I would say, of this size, I will look to my colleagues in the finance department, but given the reserve that we have, it's not significant enough, I think, to be detrimental in the long run to the festival.
Excuse me. So we kind of look at festivals long-term over a number of years. We plan accordingly with entry fees and whatnot, so that there is a surplus. Some years there's deficits. Some examples with the Strawberry Festival, if there's a year where there's rain 2 or 3 of the days, we're going to have a deficit. In the years where there's nice sunny weekends, there's a surplus, and we make sure that it averages out, so that we don't want to have too big of a surplus that we're building a reserve account. Then we'd probably lower our fees a little bit, but it kind of averages out, allows us to save up and buy some different capital items. We've bought sea cans in the past, just for storage and whatnot. And when it comes to the last call before fall, it's indoor, so it's a little bit easier to predict the outcome. But like Ms. Finero said, it is new, so we can adjust our prices accordingly, which it was a very minor deficit this year. So be happy to answer any other questions.
Through your worship, perhaps I can add that the last call before fall is on its 3rd year. The first 2 years there was a surplus, $1,500 in the first year, $6,500 in the second year, followed by a small loss this year. So overall, it has been profitable for the last 3 years. With respect to the Strawberry Festival and combining the last call before fall, we currently have a festival surplus of about $100,000 overall.
Thank you. Another question? Okay.
Yeah, just again, for Councillor Segan, as well as some of the folks that may be watching online, the intention behind the events is not to be a profit-generating adventure. We intentionally price the entrance, price the product in a way that it's really a service to the community. It's an event that folks can attend. Some of them are free, and obviously we don't make any money at those in terms of revenue at the door. But the intention is really not to have a profit or loss. What we try to do is run them as close to break even as possible. And certain years we do well because of a surge of attendance, generally speaking. And other years we don't, because there could be another event happening in the area. Although we try to time it with the TWEPI group to ensure that we don't have other competing events. But it's certainly from that perspective, it's not meant to, I know that some folks may think, and we have events at the event center where we are the host, but not the event coordinator. Those events are meant to make money. I mean, they factor in whatever the charges are and things of that nature. Our events are, town-run events are generally on a break-even basis. So there, it is normal to see losses. It is normal also to see revenues over expenses from year to year.
All right, thank you. No further questions.
Deputy Mayor Capata?
Thank you, Worship. Through you, just to the team, it always seems that my children become of age when we have the festival, and they're dragged to their first adult function, so thank you very much. Mine is just about the security of our tokens. I don't know if you're aware, but through my line of work, I got a note about what happened in Victoria, BC. And I just want to make sure that we are aware and we check all our tokens to make sure that the shenanigans that happen in BC don't happen to us. And if you're not aware, we can take it offline. I don't want to share what happened. I just want to make sure that we're in a good stead, that's all.
Okay. Councillor Renna?
Thank you, Your Worship. Most of my comments and questions were actually answered with Ms. Spagnolo. I wanted to also say that, you know, I went out Saturday night. It was a great event. It always is a great event. I get more positive feedback on that event than anything else. As we know, a small deficit, a small profit happens year over year. My only suggestion, and this is kind of different than what Councillor Spagnolo mentioned, is that we do know that the Saturday is going to sell out anyway. Everybody wants to do something on the Saturday night. They're not always in a big hurry to get off of work on Friday and go find something to do. My only suggestion would be that we work with finance to see if we might be able to garner a little bit of budget to put a more of a draw on the stage. Something like a tribute band, like a Practically Hip, or something that would appeal to an audience that would get them to come out. I think the only problem with our Friday night is we don't have anything that's really drawing them. I respect the DJ idea, but I think we did do that once, and we still didn't get the attendance that we needed that night. And we just haven't cracked that code of the Friday night yet. My suggestion would be to bring in something that's a little bit more attractive on the stage. Not that our local artists aren't, but maybe something on a national name, something that you'd find at FIO or something like that. There are a lot of vendors at FIO that offer those types of band, with, a Bon Jovi or a country act that comes in and covers any of those types of things, but I do know they come with a higher budget. So it's something you might want to have a conversation with them and see what you can bring back next month. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? No? I have to agree with council. It's a great event. It really is. When it was the, what was it called before? What do we call it? Craft Beer Fest? Was that our name of it? I feel Elspeth, that's what it was. It was well attended, but we always had to worry about weather, and there was always so many unknowns. Moving it over to the event centers created something completely different, but it's created something for the adults in the community, something we haven't had before, and it gives them a reason to stay in LaSalle, and that's what we want. I think you've done a great job at doing that. I think Friday night, no matter what we do, we're probably not going to have the turnout that we do Saturday. For some reason, Saturday, everybody wants to go and everyone has this great time. And maybe Friday, it just becomes a discounted night. And those who just want to have a quieter night want to go that night. I don't know what the trick is, but I think it's a great event. I think we've done a great job. And every year you've grown and you've added new vendors. I agree. I did get some people who asked, maybe for the people who were the drivers, who wanted a coffee at the end of the night or snacks. So the food is great, but some people even like popcorn. Maybe one of our popcorn vendors locally want to come and be part of the event, those kind of things. But honestly, I think it's a great event. I think you do a good job. And yes, there was a bit of a deficit this year, but like I said, we've offset it in other events. And I think you guys do a really great job at budgeting and planning. And I look forward to whatever you bring next time. So thank you very much for everything. The recommendations that the report of the Director of Culture and Recreation dated November 7th, 2025 regarding the last call before fall post-event report be received. Moved by Councillor Spagnolo and support by Councillor Carrick. All in favor? That carries. Questions or statements from members of council? Councillor Segan?
Yeah, I just want to congratulate the crew here for the improved growth in your programming. Having worked with a lot of you in my previous experience with a lot of the community organizations in town, I recognize how passionate you are about the work you do, and I want to thank you for your service.
Councillor Spagnolo.
Thank you, through you. Just to the culture team, I was at an event actually on Halloween night, and I just made a comment to the staff that were at the window. They were doing, their checks and everything, and I'm like, we don't have a coat rack? And they said, you know what, that's a good point. So I'm happy to say that you guys purchased one, and I think that's great, because I think a coat rack for all the events that you guys have is really good, because you don't want people losing their coats or anything. So it's nice that you guys took care of that, and I appreciate that. So thank you for that.
Any other questions or comments? I know this isn't part of the report, but the truck or treat event was amazing. I loved the new location. I don't know, did you get to go and see it? Our not your kind of event, I get it. I won't even say who it was. A member of our administration made a comment to me that it felt very Hallmarky, and he's absolutely right. It was so well attended and so well organized. I know it was in response to members who attend the Vollmer and were upset about parking not being available to them when they go for hockey, and you guys did this pivot to this new location, and it worked out great. I really think everyone seemed very happy with it, but it did create a different feel there, which was kind of fun and nice. And so thank you for that and making those changes. Also, congratulations on the tree lighting ceremony. It went on, so that's good. When you switch that lever, that's all you hope for is that light turns on. So thank you. And Dawn, your team, the videos that have been coming out of these last few events are fantastic, and I really am finding them being shared more on social media through different avenues that I've never seen before, which is good for our community, and we're getting more people wanting to be a part of those. So thank you to you and your team as well, and everybody. I think we've got some great things happening in the town, and it's all to your hard work, so thank you guys very much. No other questions or comments? Well, I didn't know if I should say that now or if that's part of, yes, Friday. There may be another really big event. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to mention with your comments with regards to truck or treat. This is a good example. Like my report speaks to the collaboration, and when we were talking about this pivot and looking like how can we have a great event, but also make sure that our customers that come to the Vollmer all the time have the parking that they need. We have weekly meetings with our Public Works team just to talk about events, and to be honest, that idea came from our Public Works team. Like, what about Lot 5? We were looking at Lot 3, and it was a brilliant suggestion. And then Ms. Rayfew's team, worked out all the logistics, and they did a great job. But I just wanted to point that out, that the collaboration we have with Public Works is a big reason why the events go really well, and it was their idea, so.
Thank you. I agree with you 100%. I know they're kind of the backbone to a lot of it, so we have to appreciate that team as well. And yes, Friday, who has the exact details? Because I can't think of the timing right now, but who wants to? Go ahead.
Friday, we're opening the loop at LaSalle Landing. The event starts at 6 o'clock. The ribbon cutting is at 6:30. There's going to be food trucks. There's going to be a fire show. There's going to be a beatboxer. He's the Canadian champion. He's really great. It's going to be a lot of fun. And there will be activities taking place inside the event center as well. I think there's a guy in red that's going to be there. So lots of fun stuff.
Thank you. And just so anyone watching, events run starting this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday until December 19th. I feel like I might have that day wrong, but that weekend. How about that? Yes. For anybody more information, please visit our website or social media pages. Councillor Reno?
Yeah, I just had one question. One of the exciting things about the Loop is the skate loaner program. I'm just wondering, will that be up and ready for Friday? And could we just get a little bit of a detail about that? There hasn't been much said about it so far.
Yes, thank you for the question. Thank you for the reminder. Yes, the skates arrived today. They were mistakenly shipped to LaSalle, Quebec, but they arrived in LaSalle, Ontario today, so that will be up and running. So the skate loaning is just that, it's loaning. There is no charge, but it is skates, so if people wish to wear a helmet, which we do recommend, they should bring their own helmets. There's skates in all various sizes, children and adults, and they'll be available first come, first serve. The skate loaning takes place the same hours as the Holiday Lights programming, which is available on our website, but it's Friday evening, Saturday, and Sunday. the skate loaning will be available. And there's fun skate aids too. There's a few fun skate aids for little ones who are just learning to skate and need something to hold on to while they're skating.
A follow-up, so when you say the fun skate, is that like the assistant device that they skate with? Is that what you're talking?
Yes, it's something that you push, and it looks like a Zamboni or an ice resurfacer, and you can push it around. So it's
Perfect.
It's fun. It's something to hold on to.
Somebody had asked me if they had one for their children, would they be allowed to bring an outside one as well, or just the ones that we have?
No, they can bring an outside one
Okay,
as well.
thank you so
Yes.
much.
And I just wanted to mention that skate loaning is made possible by funding from EndBridge.
Great. Sounds good. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.